Welcome to the All Rise Podcast, Sunday Scaries. I'm your host, Christine, a civil litigator and personal mentor. Every Sunday, we'll tackle those dreaded Sunday Scaries together to demystify the practice of law and provide you with actionable tips and guidance to face your week ahead. So grab a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and join me while we turn those Sunday Scaries into stepping stones towards your success. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of All Rise Mentors Sunday Scaries, where we focus on helping you as a lawyer tackle the worries that can often creep in before the start of a new week. I'm your host, Christine Barker, and today we're going to dive into one of the most really important skills, maybe the most important skill for any lawyer, and that is confidence. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how to, I hate the phrase fake it till you make it. You're not faking anything. So I kind of like to reframe it a little bit and think it till you make it, and really focus on the mindset portion of confidence. It's not just a theory, but in a way that really works for lawyers. Whether you're in your early stages of your career, you're appearing for the first time, you're a brand new lawyer, or just making a big decision within the law. Maybe it's a new job or giving advice to a client. You've got to have that confidence. You have to exude that kind of confidence to a client in order for them to trust you. Number one, to make good decisions. Number two, to give you more work. So we're going to break down this into 4 parts. So number one, like I said, your mindset. Really getting into the appropriate mindset of confidence. And then number 2, trusting your experiences. This is a key to building your confidence. I think the 3 pillars of confidence really are trust in your experience, trust in your decisions, and trust in your own abilities. And all those 3 things together is really the mindset of confidence. So let's dive in. If you've ever struggled with impostor syndrome or worried about making the wrong decision, the wrong move, or questioned whether you were good enough or if you were good enough for your client or good enough to stand in front of a judge, this episode is for you. So let's start with overall your mindset. So the power of mindset is a crucial role in the legal profession. Confidence, or the lack thereof, can affect how you handle a client, how you communicate with opposing counsel, how you present in court, and really how you do your job. So here's the truth about confidence, though. Confidence is learned. It is not inherent. You don't just wake up one day as a confident person. And I know it looks like some people are. They're just faking it till they make it. So but I like I said, I like to think of the phrase, think it till you make it. And it's all about developing the mindset that allows you to take things to the next level. And even if you don't feel 100% ready. So here's how to cultivate that mindset. Number 1 is reframing self-doubt. Every lawyer, no matter how successful, how experienced, will have moments of self-doubt. I still have them. I've been doing this 20 plus years. Instead of letting doubt control you, though, you need to recognize it as a part of the process. When you're worried about an upcoming trial or a complex contract or case, remind yourself that confidence does come from experience, but not from perfection. One of the things that I really like to when I'm thinking about that self-doubt and reminding myself about the self-doubt is doubt's there for a reason. And it might be because maybe that I'm in an unfamiliar territory. It's not an area of law that I know very well. Or I may be worried that, I'm not 100% confident in the advice that I'm giving because I'm giving an educated opinion. But that doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean that I am going to be right. There are so many factors that come into play. For example, if I'm evaluating a case and I'm trying to tell my client the likelihood of success at trial, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't wave a magic wand and say you're going to win at trial and the judgment's going to be $1 million. I don't know that. What I do know is I can review the facts. I can review cases that I've had similar to it. I can review prior case law, and I can make an educated opinion about what I think likely might happen. I never give my clients a slam dunk. I never tell them 100% I'm going to kill it at trial because I don't have control over that. A judge has control over that. I have an adversary. I've got opposing counsel I have to deal with. If it's a jury, I've got to convince 12 jurors that my client's position is correct. So I never give those guarantees. But keep in mind that self-doubt is trying to tell you something, and you just have to listen to it and pay attention to it. One way to listen to it, pay attention to what doubt is telling you, is preparation. It's all about preparation, not perfection. Perfection is a confidence killer, especially in law. The pressure to be right is overwhelming. I mean, we came into this profession for a reason. We like to argue. We like to be right. So does your opposing counsel. So here's the thing though. Great lawyers are not perfect. They're prepared. And that's really, really important. You can exude so much confidence when you are prepared, when you know your case, when you know your facts, when you've researched the law. So whether you're walking into a courtroom, into a meeting, you're drafting a complex motion, preparation really is the foundation for confidence. If you take anything away from this episode, it is that. Preparation is the foundation for confidence. So instead of focusing on getting everything perfect, focus on being prepared and knowing your materials inside and out. That's where the confidence is going to be born. So now I kind of want to turn to like the 3 pillars. And the number 1 pillar is trust in your experience. One of the biggest challenges lawyers face is, particularly early in their career, is trusting in their past experiences, because you don't really have a lot when you're first starting out, or at least you don't think you do. And that's not necessarily true. Here's a really quick reality check. Whether you are fresh out of law school, a few years into practice, you've already faced lots of challenges and you've survived. You've gone through law school. You've gone through college. Maybe you did moot court. Maybe you did mock trial. Maybe you had the Socratic method in law school and you were in the hot seat. I know how nerve-wracking and frustrating that method of teaching is, but it really was teaching you something. It was teaching you to think on your feet. It was teaching you to trust your instinct. It was teaching you to trust your experiences. You've spent years of studying, you've handled internships, maybe you've done clinics. Those were all similar to that nerve-wracking first client meeting or that walk into the courtroom and ready to argue a hard motion. All of those experiences do matter, and they are what has made up your experiences right now. You're going to build more confidence the more experiences that you have. For lawyers, trusting experience means recognizing that even though you're encountering a new situation, it might be a different area of law, it might be some high stakes negotiations, it might be a difficult judge. You have the foundation already for success. The tools that you have gained through school, training, past work, internships, they're always there with you. And whether you recognize it or not, those experiences are giving you the confidence that you need to go into the next new situation. So when doubt creeps in, especially before trial or during a critical deal, take a moment to reflect on things that you've already experienced, cases you've already handled, whether they're big or small. If you had a difficult conversation with opposing counsel last week, you didn't die, you got through it. If you settled a case, if you won a demur, motion to strike, even if it's a small demur that, got leave to amend, that's okay. You've already handled cases. So reflect on those. Legal skills that you've already honed, whether it's legal research and writing, client counseling, strategic thinking, even in law school. I'm sure you took a legal research and writing class, so you know how to research. Maybe it's a new area that you have to research, but you know how to do it. So just continue to keep that in mind. If you've done any clinics or if you did peer counseling in law school, if you had to do any negotiations, even if they weren't real cases, it doesn't matter. The critical thinking is still the same, whether it's a real case or it was a simulation. And finally, think about times that you've been under pressure and you've made it through it, even if it wasn't in the legal field. Our real life experiences are what make us good lawyers. What you bring to the table, your experience, your past, things that you've had to deal with, it's a unique way for you to look at a new set of problems, a new case, and maybe in a different perspective. So don't discount under pressure situations that you've been in, even if they weren't related to law. It's the skill set of learning to think under pressure that you're looking for, and just inserting that into a case, opposing counsel, a new area of law, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Trust in those experiences are part of the confidence toolbox, and learning and lean on those things when things are getting a little tough. The second pillar is trusting in your decisions. In the legal world, you are constantly having to make decisions. Decision fatigue is real. I am telling you, it's one of the reasons why I hate deciding what to make for dinner, because I've made so many decisions all day long. I don't want to make another decision. Some are on the spot, others are after hours of research and deliberation. Yet one thing that erodes confidence for many lawyers is second-guessing their decisions. Should I have taken that settlement? Maybe I should have held out for more money. Maybe I offered too much money. Did I file the right motion? Maybe I should have done a different motion. What's the best strategy for cross-examination? Maybe if I would have argued differently, I would have won the motion. There is nothing bigger that kills confidence than second-guessing yourself. It's natural, but confidence comes from trusting your judgment, even when the stakes are high. And as a lawyer, the decisions you make are often impactful more than just on you. It's on your client, it's on your firm, and sometimes it's on the law itself. I know that can feel really overwhelming, but don't freak out. Here are a few ways to start trusting in your decisions, and again, it's just going to breed and build more confidence. Number one, create a decision-making process. I love to do this. I love to have a process in place before the tough decision comes, before I have to make that judgment call. If I have a process in place and then I trust the process, number one, I created the process when I wasn't stressed out, when I didn't have the pressure of having to make a decision. So create a decision-making process before the big decision has to be made. Confidence is not about not being reckless. It's about knowing that you've put the necessary thought and effort into making an informed decision. Whether it's deciding on how to approach a case or which argument to present first, if you develop a framework for how you're going to approach that decision, it's going to take a lot of the recklessness out of it. This could mean discussing strategies with colleagues, relying on legal precedent, or simply trusting your gut after considering all the facts. What I like to do, kind of my decision-making process, is I like to, number one, know all the facts. I get to know every fact that I can out of my case. Doesn't mean I'm going to know every fact in the case, because I can't interview everybody. Some people might not tell me the truth, but I will sit down with the documents that I have, maybe the depositions that I have, and go through everything and really digest the facts of the case. One of the things that's the hardest thing about being a lawyer is that you're getting everything second hand. You weren't there. All of these incidences occur before you're there. You're kind of getting hired on the back end to play Monday morning quarterback, and then tell them what best legal theories that they have. So what I like to do is try and immerse myself into the case, get to know the facts, get to know the witnesses, know the wealth of the case. One of the things that I think really hurt the legal profession, and especially new lawyers, was when we all went home and worked from home during the pandemic. And not a lot of people went back, or if they did, it's kind of been a slow migration back. And that's not to say that working remotely and working from home doesn't have its benefits. It does. I work from home probably 3 days a week, but I've really made an effort to get back into the office. And the reason being is speaking to your colleagues, bouncing ideas off with one another. It is invaluable. And I feel like new attorneys and young attorneys just don't have that sense of collegial in the office anymore because you kind of started off your practice working from home. So really do reach out to your boss, reach out to your peers, reach out to colleagues, reach out to people that you went to law school with. I used to do that all of the time. I had a core group of friends that I went to law school with, and if I was struggling with, an area of law or trying to make a decision, I'd reach out to them sometimes. Hey, can I bounce this off of you? Maybe we'd meet for a drink and, we'd sit down and we'd talk about, in general, not giving away any attorney-client privileged communications, but hey, hypothetically speaking, if you had a case like this, what would you do? It's really important. So for me, that's kind of my decision-making process is learn as much as I can about the case, bounce ideas off of a colleague or a superior, and then trust your gut. You can make a bad decision. It's okay. So long as it wasn't a reckless decision. You can't predict the future, but you do need to have a process for making those kinds of decisions. Number 2, accept imperfections. Even the best lawyers don't always get it right. Understand that confidence doesn't come from making perfect decisions. It comes from making informed decisions. I'm going to repeat that. Confidence does not come from making perfect decisions. It comes from making informed decisions. Knowing that you can adjust if you need to. Sometimes the best way to gain confidence is by making a decision and just moving on, rather than endlessly debating every possible outcome. One of my mentors used to tell me that the most important decision that you'll ever make is the decision after the decision. Once you make a decision, that's it. Don't second guess yourself and morose over whether you made the right or wrong decision. And then finally, learn from each case, each contract, each client, each trial, all of it. It's a learning opportunity. Confidence isn't about getting everything right on the first time. It's about learning from each one of your experiences and trusting that you will continue to improve with each decision that you make. Finally, the third pillar is trusting your abilities. In the legal world, you will often be expected to be the expert, the person that your client relies upon for advice and protection. But how you exude confidence if you don't fully trust in your skills? Here's the truth. You've already earned your place. You have. You're a lawyer. You went to law school, you passed the bar, you got a job, you're a lawyer. You're already good enough. You've already gone through all of this. Now is the time for you to trust your legal skill set. The ones that you've spent years in law school learning, the ones that you've been practicing, those are strong enough right now to guide you through a complex situation. They really, really are. You just have to be patient and you just have to put in the time to make an informed decision. So if you're ever feeling a little shaky about your abilities, here's a quick exercise for you to do. Number 1, first, list 3 difficult situations where you succeeded. Whether it was winning a motion, negotiating a settlement, or simply surviving a particularly tough day. And it doesn't have to be in law. When I was first kind of building my confidence, I remember one of the things, and a little controversial, but I'll tell you anyways, but one of the things that I used to tell myself is that when I'm saying I'm trusting in my decisions, and I'm trusting in my abilities, and I have confidence, is I had the confidence to walk away from a relationship that was not right for me. And it was hard. It was very, very hard for me to do. And it was not a popular decision for my significant other, for my family. But it was something that I knew, I trusted in my gut that it was the right decision. And people second guessed me, and I didn't second guess myself. So one of the things when I was trying to build confidence is I would remember that. I would tell myself, I've got your back. You've got to have your own back. So list out 3 in your mind, and they could be the same ones. I would list out the same 3. They just became a mantra for me where I was like, look, you survived these 3 very difficult situations and you succeeded in them. They turned out to be really good decisions. Identify skills that have helped you succeed in those situations. Whether it's legal research, persuasive writing, speaking on your feet, you know what your skill sets are. Don't cower away from them. Don't shy away from them. It's not boasting for you to recognize the skills that you are good at. For example, I knew I was a really good writer. I wasn't quick on my feet. I wasn't. but I knew that I was a good writer. And when I first started arguing motions and doing law and motion work, one of the things that I would do is like, you know what, Christine, you're good at writing. Try and win it on the papers. Try and write a really good persuasive motion. Do your legal research, write the motion, see if you can win it without ever having to argue. And the funny thing is that while I was developing that skill to learn to think on my feet, and I'm focusing my efforts on writing a really, really good motion, I realized I knew the case really well. I knew the law really well, and it made arguing the case even easier. Recognizing those skills that are ones that you can rely on will help you move forward in learning new skills. Just like me, relying upon my good writing helped me to learn to be a better arguer. Trusting your abilities doesn't mean you don't have doubts. I still have them. We all do. Even the most seasoned attorneys do. It just means that you recognize that your skills are strong enough to carry you. You're good enough right now, even when things are challenging. So there you have it. Confidence broken down for you. It's all about the mindset. And the three pillars of mindset when it comes to confidence are trusting your experiences, trusting in your decisions, and trusting in your abilities. Whether you are in the early stages of your career or you are knee-deep into practice, confidence is something that you build on with action and you reinforce it with your own reflection. As you go through the week this week, I challenge you to take on a bold action. It could be speaking up in a meeting, taking the lead on a case, simply trusting yourself to make a decision without second-guessing yourself. Whatever it is, know that you already have what it takes in order to make that decision. Thank you for joining me today on the All Rise Mentor Podcast, the Sunday Scaries. If this episode resounded with you, please do leave us a review. Please like. If there are other topics that you would like for us to tackle, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, we'll see you again soon.